In 1842, Father Edward Sorin dedicated a university to Our Lady of the Lake. For 130 years, Notre Dame would train generations of men in the traditionally Catholic single-sex model of education.
Let's go Irish!
I think it was a macho place. It was big on sports. It had a very macho message, if you will, when you came to campus. It was great masculine Catholicity.
Debbie Dell, class of 1976.
Mary Ann Corr, class of 1978.
What I thought to myself is, if this is a great Catholic university, maybe the best ever, and it has a great Catholic education to prepare young people for life, why not do it for women as well as for men? And that was received not with cheers, but with a large outcry that I was going to ruin the place.
I'm Dolly Duffy, class of 1984.
Vivian Gambera, Notre Dame class of 1997.
Molly Fogarty-Buser, class of 2002.
The leadership of Notre Dame and St. Mary's College looked into a merger between the two single-sex schools. Ultimately, the concept was rejected.
Some people wish we had joined together, but I think we're certainly living together very well, and I think we have the best of both worlds.
Notre Dame moved ahead with its own plan to admit women, and in the fall of 1972, welcomed 125 first-year female students, along with 275 sophomore, juniors, and senior transfers. The ratio on campus that first semester was an amazing 20 men to 1 woman.
Long before I got here, long before I was even born, there were, a small group of women who decided that they could be the ones to change this place, and they did, and I'm grateful for that. I'm Katie Washington, and I'm a graduate of the class of 2010.
We knew that we were first. We knew that there weren't many of us, but I didn't have a sense of history. At that time, girls or women were starting to break a lot of barriers, so it just seemed to be the next step.
As soon as the first 125 were notified, all of us were getting letters from some of the seniors on campus telling us about themselves and that they would be there to help us, and oh, by the way, what their interests were, and if we wanted to follow up, here were their room numbers, their telephone numbers, their majors, and feel free to contact them.
The transition did not happen painlessly. Many alumni and male students were outraged. Baden and Walsh halls were designated as women's dorms, displacing male residents and causing friction.
There were things men got and women didn't get. Men got laundry service and got their beds made. Women got sheets and had to do their own laundry. We had kitchens, they didn't have kitchens. We had security locks on the doors, and at that time men didn't.
The early female students faced other challenges in the very gender lopsided environment.
Being the only girl in my class and being asked for the female point of view, and I'm 17 and trying to think, I don't even think I have a point of view.
Being asked the woman's opinion in class when it was a statistics class. Being rated as you walk through the dining hall as to beauty, even comments about what you had on your tray to eat.
By the fall of 1975, the gender ratio had risen to a more reasonable 4 men to every 1 woman, and all undergraduates only knew a coeducational Notre Dame.
I think the university did a good job in a very, very short amount of time. The difference between my freshman year and my senior year was really significant in terms of the comfort level of the women here.
Within the first few years, Notre Dame women had joined the marching band, worked as yearbook and magazine editors, earned the first Navy ROTC commission, and served as valedictorian.
I believe we were the first class that was 50% female. So it was a milestone that we had definitely reached. As far as coeducation goes, it wasn't even a topic when I graduated in 1997. It was just a way of life, and no one questioned it at all.
I started school in 1998, so coeducation had existed for more than 25 years. It felt very natural that women and men were together.
Today, over 27,500 undergraduate alumni cover the globe. They comprise about 1/4 of all Notre Dame graduates.
If you look at the quality of the alumni, male and female, that have graduated in the past 40 years and the influence they've had in government, in business, in law, There was no other decision for Notre Dame. It had to go co-ed, and I'm glad I was a part of it.
One of the inherent messages that I got from Notre Dame, subtle but forceful, and that is, okay, we've given you a good education, we've opened up the door for you, now go make us proud and do something that makes a difference.
The Notre Dame experience taught me that it's good and it's acceptable and it's respectable to be a strong leader and an intellectual woman.
And that might be to have an incredible career. It might be to do volunteer work. It might be to stay home and raise an incredible family. But whatever you do it well.
I'm very proud of being a Notre Dame graduate and a woman of Notre Dame.
We were all each other's bridesmaids. We were godmothers to each other's children. And we have really been there for each other, even long distance, through all the sorrows that come as life goes along, death and divorce. And it's been just a wonderful supportive network of deep friendships.
When those first women walked on campus in 1972, I don't know what they must have been feeling, but I think that every student who has walked on campus has had a richer experience because of the sacrifice that they made.
To the women who came before us and who were the pioneers initially, I'd say thank you for laying the groundwork to make it so easy for us 25 years later.
I think men and women at Notre Dame work together equally to create a very special thing. Men and women, scholars, leaders, professionals of all kinds, collaborate in creating what I happen to believe is the greatest Catholic university in the history of the world.
It's the next 40 years. That's the reason to come to Notre Dame. It's those friendships that endure, and it's the lifetime experience. That's what Notre Dame is.
The Notre Dame Alumni Association has created ND Women Connect, a program launched 4 years ago as a way for our alumni to support each other and strive to be a force for good in their local communities. ND Women Connect began with 4 pilot programs and is now expanded to more than 30 chapters nationwide. In the life of a university, 40 years barely represent a moment. But the presence of women at Notre Dame for the last 40 years has indelibly strengthened the university's character and culture. At the Notre Dame Grotto is a small stone memorial commemorating the admission of women to the university in 1972. The inscription reads, "We are and forever will be grateful daughters of Notre Dame."
It really is loyal sons and daughters, and we're very cognizant of that.
Since women have been in school at Notre Dame, the gifts that we have brought, the gifts that we have shared with this community have changed this community for the better.